During National America Saves Week, we learned that the personal savings rate in the U.S. soared to 20.5% from 13.4%, thanks in large part to those stimulus checks. Joining me now for a final installment of America Saves Week is another Funding Our Future partner, Meredith Ryan-Reid. She is Senior Vice President and Head of Financial Wellness and Engagement at MetLife. Meredith, good to see you here. I know you brought along with you some ways families can work together to increase their savings. And you say the first thing they should do is create an emergency fund, which we know can be tough for folks when they look at what's left over at the end of the month after they deal with their overhead. How do you propose they go about doing that?
Hi, Alexis. Thank you for having me, and thank you for focusing on this really important topic. I know it's not easy, and I know there's a lot of traditional advice and guidelines out there about what people should be saving in their emergency fund. Usually it's about 6 months of your expenses, for example. But one of the things that we've learned in partnership with some terrific nonprofits, including the Financial Health Network and Common Sense Lab, for example, is that one of the things that people can do is think about pre-committing any sort of windfall they might be expecting. So whether that's a stimulus check or taxes, every year, and we're almost upon it, right? Many Americans get tax refunds. And we found that people who pre-committed those funds toward a savings goal were much more successful at hitting their targets. So one of the things you can do is think about a goal, think about something you want to commit to in advance so that you're prepared and you can take action to do it. And you don't get caught up in, the Monday through Friday where it gets really hectic and it's hard. It's harder to save.
And I like this one. You say cut costs even when you don't need to, right? Because we sort of forget that we go on autopilot sometimes. There are subscription services that we have that we don't necessarily need or even use. There are lower cost options for things in our lives that we don't take advantage of, right?
Completely. And, I think of this in terms of, successful diets and other wellness programs. The key is preparation and time. And I've found, just personally in this pandemic, my husband and I have focused on these things so much more because we actually had the time and we were both in the same room together, more so than we had been in our lives prior to this, where we were all traveling and running around. So I think one of the keys for people is to sort of set that plan and look for things that are small. All those little things add up. Subscriptions is a great example. There are actually some companies out there that'll help you locate those subscriptions, cancel them for you. There are a lot of them hiding in your favorite, your iPhone or your Android. Take a look at what's being charged. You might not even realize you have something in there. You're probably not using it. And all of those things really add up. They might look like little charges on a weekly or monthly basis, but they make a difference. And if you can put those towards savings, it's sort of a fun way to do it.
That's true. Yeah, you don't think fun and cost cutting in the same sentence, but you're right.
No.
You can have some fun with it. Talk to me about how you can get the whole family involved, though, even the kids, so they feel like they're part of it. And perhaps, you increase their education when it comes to financial literacy and money and saving.
Yeah, and I think this is terrific. I could give, a little personal insight here too. I have a 7 and 10-year-old, and we've recently started doing this. The idea of chores and an allowance have been around forever, but now there's a ton of great apps you can use. There's ways you can, gamify it so that it's fun for them. And certainly if you put a little bit of Roblox on the line, I know that works with my kids. You might see them get a lot more engaged. Not only will they do their chores, but they'll really start to understand the concepts of, saving for a goal. Right now, my one daughter's saving for my other daughter's birthday, which made us pretty happy. But you have to bring them in when they're younger and they're enthusiastic about it. And it's amazing what they understand. Just the other day, my daughter counted all of the coins she had been saving up, because none of us, want to use coins anymore, right? So we give them to the girls and they have their little cash boxes. We took them to, the supermarket, and they used one of the coin counting machines. And they played a game about how much they thought they had and how close they could get to the exact number. So there's always, I think, a sort of a game to be played that is also really focused on education. And that's a good way to get the whole family involved.
We did something really similar. Those paper coin like envelopes that you bring to the bank. Hadn't seen them in forever. We got a bunch of them and put my daughter to work to fill them up. So great tips. Meredith, Ryan-Reid of MetLife. Thanks so much.